Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America. Thank you for following Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. I also want to say we picked up Russia because I know somebody's been tapping our lines, Big C. I wasn't going to blame it on President Obama, but every time Trump tries that, the FBI says he's lying, so I won't nail Obama for this one. But I do want to say we thank you, good old boys, from across the border up north in Canada. Also, we thank you, good old boys, down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave, Big C. How's it going for you wiretapping boys, Big C? California love, huh? You couldn't leave the California girls alone. I understand what it's like, Big C. They wish they all could be California girls. Is that why you came back, Big C?
Well, I don't know, Charlton. I'm out here. I'm down on the 405 in Los Angeles, and I'm rolling anywhere between 1 and 9 miles an hour. So I don't know. I know why I love California. Okay?
Now you know why Snoop Dogg always runs around with that sticky icky, so he can keep his mind relaxed, Big C, when he's driving at 4 miles per hour in that 500 horsepower Escalade. And speaking of Escalade, this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. And also, Big C, you good old boys down south, what's it like driving in the LA freeways? I know you good old boys down south, you driving a lot of those dirt roads, but out here in California, they took all the orange fields and all the orange rows that they had out back in the day with produce, and now they put down highways. In fact, in Southern California, little known knowledge, they had a subway system back in the 20s, and when automotive became popular, the government tore up the highways, they tore up the subway systems and put in highways. Do you think they made the good choice, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if they made the good decision, Charlton, because this is not the greatest move down there. I mean, you can get old driving on the freeway down there.
Yeah.
You don't let some everybody out here driving around, but I mean, it is packed. You know, the weather's kind of nice out here. It's not like when we get back home, but you know, you people have to live with what you got out here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think it's so slow paced. I don't even think the president would come out here. You know,
No.
He doesn't like to be backlogged.
No, he doesn't like to be backlogged. He would like the fact that there are a lot of good golf courses in Southern California. But I do want to ask you, a lot of the times the good old boys come out to California and they think everybody lives next to the Pacific Ocean, Big C, okay? Have you seen Kim Kardashian or any good old stars down there in the land of make-believe, Big C?
Talking on the plane, we heard a couple of people talking about, you know, they had to get back out here and finish up their shoots and everything. But,
Yeah.
You know, we didn't see much in LAX airport, but, you know, it's a very, very busy place, chaotic. Everybody's trying to get out of there, not hang around. So, you know, it's like the freeway out here. You know, this reminds me of a marathon race where everybody's all bunched together, you know, at the start. And I mean, it's bumping. When they say bumping traffic, that's what they're talking about. This is like trying to get in and out of a football stadium, you know.
Yeah, and speaking of football stadium, you know, that's where you're down there in the neck of the woods where the Rams are putting that new stadium down there in Inglewood up by the Forum, I guess where the Forum is right now. Can you imagine?
We flew over Inglewood when we come in, and it showed the ground out there, Charlton, where they plan on putting the stadium and everything, where, you know, the groundbreaking is taking place, and, you know, you could see all that. You know, it's going to be a marvelous facility once they get it up, but, you know, for the meantime, the next couple of years, they're going to have to deal with playing in the arcade Coliseum, you know, that you know, open for the, you know, Olympics back in the 30s, Charlton.
Yeah.
It's been around a long time.
Now, let me ask you this question. Right now, you're down in the same neck of the woods where if you look at all the sports teams in Los Angeles, and today is April the 12th, 2017, you're in the same area that the Lakers are driving up and down the highway. The Clippers drive up and down those same highways. You have the Dodgers that use those same highways, Big C. And then you also look at the Anaheim, you look at the Angels, you look at USC, UCLA, all the great sports teams that have to take the highways because There's really not an ample subway system. There's a small one, but not a big one. What is it like for an athlete? The Rams just came out. What is it like for them to get from the airport even over to the stadium, Big C, dealing with all that traffic?
Well, you also forgot the Anaheim Mighty Ducks and the Los Angeles Kings, Jonathan.
Yeah.
To deal with this bombarding of traffic and lack of freeway ability to move. I mean, when you think about the amount of people that live here in this basin,
Yeah.
and having access. I mean, we talk about the athletes. Okay, that's only a few dozen people at a time.
Yeah.
Think about those tens of thousands who are trying to get into the stadium for a sporting event, and what this creates, the gridlock and all that. And you think about Charleston in Los Angeles, especially on a Saturday.
Yeah.
When you have USC playing at home, you have UCLA playing at home, and you have a lot of other smaller colleges in this general area also,
Yeah.
that are playing at home. So the junior colleges, this is a hotbed for junior college talent. There's at least a dozen high-ranking junior colleges down here that play extremely well good football on Saturdays. So
Yeah.
this is not a great place for transportation, just from a fan perspective. And you think with the Coliseum holds, what, 90,000?
90,000, yeah.
And the Rose Bowl, we all know that holds about 100,000. So on a Saturday, it's tough sledding for the average fan. But even on Sunday when the Rams are playing, now think about it, Charlton. The Chargers are moving here to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So think about also the gridlock that's going to create. When you have two NFL games that can be going on here in Los Angeles in the same weekend, you got two NBA games that can be going on in Los Angeles on the same weekend. So that's a scenario. Think about, you spoke about the Dodgers and the Angels.
Yeah.
So those teams are in play, as well as, even though the NBA season is wrapping up now, and we got hockey going on. So, you think about it, 2 weeks ago, when baseball kicked off, and you still had the NBA playing, you got two NBA teams, two baseball teams,
Yep.
and two hockey teams. 6 major teams, Charlton, that can draw upwards of 160,000 fans. That's a lot of bodies moving and a lot of transportation on the freeway.
Yeah, and when you think about that, Big C, Los Angeles, the basin has over 15 million people, even though the city has 3 million, the second largest city in the United States of America. But think about when we talk about driving through LA, in the LA basin, as we do Big C Sports Worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network, you're in the same traffic that Denzel Washington, who was snubbed for an Oscar. Denzel Washington, well, even though he doesn't drive, I'm sure his drivers drive on that. Will Smith drives on that same traffic. Who's that good old boy that married what's his name? Brad Pitt. He drives in that traffic. I'm sure the Kardashians driving. All of them do. So if you are a person and you want to get into this show business, and everybody knows that LA is a place to be, what is it like for such an antiquated highway system for one of the most beautiful places in the world? I know we talked about the sports game and the Hollywood angle, but when you want to be a star, you got to go sit in that traffic and drive about 5 or 10 miles per hour. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, you're going to miss a lot of appointments, Justin. You got to leave a day in advance to get anywhere now.
Yeah.
This is not accommodating to anybody.
Yeah.
When we landed here in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
By the time we get to where we got to get outside of this city,
Yeah.
it might be midnight at the rate we're moving right now.
Yeah.
If I was going to a sporting event, I wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
I would have had to come in yesterday to get to it, Charlton.
Yeah, some of them good old boys at the NFL Network, from Lindsey Rhodes to Willie McGinnis, a lot of good old boys. Terrell Davis, he's down there. They all do the NFL Network. I believe that's in Culver City, just in the UCLA area. I guess it may be west of downtown Los Angeles, but they all have to put up with that same thing every time they do a show. And then you have the ESPN Sports Centers down there too. They're out there by Staples Center. And so whenever someone's doing entertainment, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or famous. If you're driving Big C's Escalade or you're driving somebody's out here in California, a lot of people use skateboards, Big C, especially the California girls on the beaches. Everybody has to deal with it. But I want to ask you this question. Has anyone seen those beach? Remember those beach girls? They used to be like Pam. What was her name? Pamela Anderson. Yeah, Pamela Anderson. She was really known, I guess, notorious for doing her show with Tommy Lee. I guess they did something that a lot of people don't do in public anymore, but maybe they do in L.A. Have you seen any beach bunnies or Hugh Hefner down there in that neck of the woods, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, everybody I've seen out here is scandalously clad. I don't think anybody's trying to
Yeah.
themselves for the most part, but when you look at them, you walk to L.A. through the airport, half of it's like a fashion show. It's like like, you know, some of this stuff on.
Yeah.
You're looking at people like, the people who are not anybody, they try to draw attention to themselves. The people that are somebody are dressing down.
Yeah.
They don't want people to see them, but everybody else, this is a city of flash. People want to be seen, and it's like with the athletes, all the athletes around here, especially the younger athletes, are always out trying to do things to draw attention to themselves. But
Yeah.
when you think about those seasoned veterans, you hear nothing about the seasoned veterans. I mean, you can look at the Los Angeles Clippers, you hear nothing about the players on that roster because they have so many seasoned veterans, even though they can't get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
But far as and their social life, you hear nothing about that versus the Lakers, which is a team built with a lot of youngsters. And
Yeah.
you hear about so many antics away from the court that these players have been involved in. And that's the difference, Jonathan, of having that seasoned team versus a team that, is really trying to draw attention to themselves.
Yeah, and when you think about that, too, so much happening. Tonight's the last game, the last night for the NBA regular season, and we're getting ready for the playoffs. If we look at the Western Conference, they're already set. They have their final 8 set. Golden State, they're the number 1 seed right now. They have one more game to play, but they're 66-15. San Antonio, 61-20. Houston, they're 54-27. You have Utah, which beat Golden State up in Oakland just the other day. They're 50-31. They're a better team than people think. And the Clippers are 50-31. Oklahoma City is 47-34. And you have Memphis at 43-38, followed by Portland, the number 8 seed, at 41-40. So Portland, they're going to have to put on the shoes and try to get back into the game, playing against the great Golden State Warriors. I know you talked earlier about how Durant and Steve Kerr would be better if they would just bring Durant off the bench. He hasn't found his three-point basket yet, Big C. Your thoughts on could that cost them going into the playoffs against a Portland team that's playing pretty decent basketball? Your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if they will cost them, but if you're a Warrior fan, you got to be depressed, Jonathan. This is a team that's won over 200 games in the last season.
Yeah.
Regular season games. I mean, you talk about accolades that team and organization should receive. And I still don't think that we should have looked at bringing Durant off of the bench because it's going to be instant offense with him bringing off. I don't know if Portland has enough firepower. You think about the players that Portland has lost over the past couple of years. I mean, they have a good, solid regular season, but, with only 66 wins this year,
Yeah.
Golden State,
Yeah.
they really slid off the table, Jonathan.
Yeah.
They're 7 less wins right now than what they had last year.
You know,
I mean, we got to get down to the press up there not getting to the plateau once again.
Well, you know what's funny about that, Big C? Even at 66-15 right now, one more game to go, they have the best record in the league this year by 5 games. San Antonio is second. They have 61 wins on the season. And just think about this, going down the Western Conference, Houston has 54 wins on the season, okay? If you look at the Eastern Conference, you have Boston, the Celtics, they're 52-29. They have 52 wins on the season. If the Celtics were in the Pacific or in the Western Division, they would be a number 4 seed right now, just above Utah and the Clippers. That's how good they are. If you look at Cleveland, they're 51-30. If they were in the West, they would still be right around the 5th seed in the West. They're the number 2 seed in the East. They would be the 5th seed in the West. That shows you how tough the Western Conference is. And in the East, we still have 2 more teams to decide the playoff spot. Number 1 is Boston, 52-29. Cleveland is 51-30. Toronto's 50-31. Washington's played pretty good basketball this year, Big C. They're 49-32, one more win from 50. Atlanta's 43-38. Milwaukee 42-39. Followed by Indiana 41-40 and Miami 40-41. Has anyone heard about the great Larry Bird out in Los Angeles? We know they can't find him back in Indiana, Big C.
Larry hit that $430
Yeah.
He was trying to figure out why is he out there being a general manager when he just got his retirement thing
Yeah.
on one lump sum.
Yeah.
But when you talk about those records in the Western Conference, Jonathan,
Yeah.
you think about those teams are beating each other up all season long. So when your record is what it is in the Western Conference, it's a very solid record.
Yeah.
And when you think about the number of teams that are over 50 win plateau, Jonathan,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, when you look at the Eastern Conference. And if they bracket their entire playoff based on wins, San Antonio and Golden State were number 1 and 2 last year.
Yeah.
As far as wins in the league. And so the rest of the conference got to knock each other off. playoffs, Charlton, when it comes down to the championship game.
Yeah.
You're playing your best opponents within your own division, in the Western Division, versus when you get to the East, there's an easy run for the top two teams all the time in the Eastern Division, Charlton.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, Big C. Golden State. Let me ask you, everybody's always saying, well, Golden State's obviously going to win it all. There's no guarantee. A lot of it has to do with Las Vegas and who makes more money.
Didn't you see what happened last year
Yeah.
with Adam Silver?
Yeah.
Adam Silver can make any call that he wants. He can tell the official, I need this kid out of a game.
Yeah.
And we saw that with DeMond Green, because with what he did was not an objectable scenario. And
No.
especially after you go back to the replay and look at it, and you see that LeBron instigated it.
Yeah.
And you're going to say that, DeMond should have gotten kicked out. It should have been a dual kick out if you kick out anybody, but you're not going to kick out the king because you need him for marketing and showtime.
Yeah, you definitely, yeah.
The game, DeMond gone, which is an equalizer, we would shut down the king all the time.
Yeah, and see,
This is something that's orchestrated by the NBA. We're also looking at Charlton.
yeah,
We talk about money that's made in professional sports. Everybody else doesn't talk about it, but we talk about it. Because to sit there and be blind that money is not the lifeblood of a
yeah.
game or outcome of a scenario, we wouldn't have Vegas or any other illegal money betted on these sporting events.
yeah,
When you look at it from a marketing perspective, how many more championship jerseys, hats, and everything when you're going to sell by Cleveland winning the championship versus Golden State? People already had them from Golden State the year before.
Yeah.
They say, I can just wear the one I got.
That's true.
Cleveland had not won a championship as a city in 54 years.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers had never won. The Golden State won back in 75, led by Rick Barry, Clifford Ray, and Don Cheney. These guys had been in that area before. The Bay Area's had multiple championships. Cleveland had nothing. It was a drought. So by Cleveland winning and LeBron winning, that was marketing 101 from an NBA perspective. We're
Yeah.
selling jerseys, we're selling hats, duplicate rings, everything. We're selling mugs, coasters for the table.
Yeah.
It's all being sold.
And-
So the NBA looks at that, Chelsea. This is a marketing tool. It's not all about basketball. It's all about marketing. And when people talk about protecting the image and the shields or
Yeah.
whatever, that's what it means. How much money can we make off of this?
Well, Big C, that's a very good point. And when you think about that, isn't it ironic that you had Cleveland winning their first championship in 54 years in the NBA, and then in baseball you had Chicago winning their first championship in 108 years in baseball, and it was also the start of Big C Sports. That's 3 C's. You can take that to Las Vegas and win about $1 million. Your thoughts on the 3 C's, Big C?
The 3 C's was one of the competition that was out there.
Yeah.
When you look at teams that were in other sports, winning championships, being involved in it, Charlton. So these are the things we look at, up and down the ledger as far as when the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball,
Yeah.
NFL, when they want to do something from a marketing perspective, you even look at the Super Bowl, how that turned out.
Yeah.
How big would it been if Atlanta had won the Super Bowl? Wouldn't have been no nationwide fanfare.
No.
NFL from a marketing perspective, other than people that were born in Atlanta, because Atlanta is a city full of transplants, Charles.
Yeah.
It's not a city full of people that were there. They were born in and grew up with the Falcons from, the 60s when they were formed.
Yeah.
As the expansion franchise. It's a city full of fair weather people. If they're winning, people are there. If they're not winning, nobody's there.
Well, that's,
And so
yeah.
That's what people look at. And then when you look at the Patriots, it's almost a history. That's how the NFL looks at that. How big will the Patriots be being the first 5-time winner of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and who didn't want to see the issue with Tom Brady and also, Roger Goodell and all that jazz about the Deflategate? It all came kind of to a head, almost like you being down there in Los Angeles, Big C, is La La Land, the land of make-believe. They make things happen, and it's like the good old boy, that brother, I think his name is Lawrence Fishburne. He's in a movie where he said, take the blue pill or the red pill, and the Matrix. So in Hollywood, you can stage anything, and I know a lot of people, they want to believe that everything is pure, that the Easter Bunny is really running around, but they know how to get the most bang for the buck. Well, I didn't mean to. Yeah. Yeah.
And he was running, but for some reason he stopped running when I pulled the trigger.
That's That's funny. I was talking to some good old boys down south, and I asked, does everybody really celebrate Easter down south the way they celebrate Easter here in the West Coast, Big C? And the good old boys say, yeah, they celebrate Easter every Sunday when they put that bunny rabbit in that skillet full of hot grease. Is that what Easter is for you, Big C, every Sunday? Yeah. Hey, speaking of rabbit, remember, I think her name was Jessica Rabbit. She was one of the, as a cartoon, honey, a good-looking cartoon. Yeah, wasn't she gorgeous? Wasn't she gorgeous? They actually had men that wanted to date her. They're like, man, it's just a cartoon. It's not a real woman. But that's how good the animations are in Southern California, Big C. Have you seen anybody that looks like Jessica Rabbit driving down south in a convertible drop top, Big C?
Well, I think that's what Kim Kardashian was trying to model.
Yeah.
And Jessica had one of the greatest lines of animation. She's like, I'm not a bad girl. I was just drawn this way.
Yeah.
She was awesome. I mean, every grown man who saw that, it wasn't a kid's movie.
No.
But everybody who saw the movie, was in love with Jessica Rabbit.
And you know what Donald Trump would have done had he seen Jessica Rabbit, Big C. That's why they made her a cartoon. He's still trying to grab the screen, if you understand what I'm saying, Big C, Donald Trump, Jessica Rabbit. and also, I know you're making that drive up on the highways down in Southern California, but I just want to touch on a few things that happened, last night in the world of the NBA. Also, as tonight's the final game, we had some results with the Kings. Sacramento Kings 129-104 over Phoenix. The Sacramento Kings, for a team that's only won about 30 games, I think, so far on the season, their record right now is 32-49. They're at the Clippers tonight, so they'll probably go 32-50. But I just want to congratulate the city of Sacramento. It goes back to the great mayor, former mayor Kevin Johnson. He fought so hard to keep the Kings in Sacramento. Would you believe when I was at their game against, I think it was Utah, they hit 1 million fans. That was about 2 weeks ago. 1 million fans at the new Golden One Center for a team that's only won 31 games, Big C, actually 32 games. To hit 1 million fans almost 2 weeks ago, I really congratulate the people of Sacramento, California for turning up and seeing a program. And if they can even get better where they start chasing 40 wins, I think that'll be good for basketball. But what's your thought in L.A., Big C? I know the Lakers draw because there are 15 million people in the L.A. basin. And I know the people right now are not excited about a 26-win team in the L.A. Lakers. And I know the Clippers right now, they won 50. Even though they won 50 games, they're the number 4 seed right now in the West, actually number 5 seed. There doesn't seem to be a lot of excitement about a team that's won 50 games in L.A., but there's a lot of excitement about a team in Northern California that's only won 32. Do you kind of get a sense of that, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton here in L.A., they might have been the number 4 seed in the playoffs, but they're number 2 seed at the Staples Center.
Yeah.
It's still Lakers territory.
Yeah.
And that's how everybody judges it around here.
Yeah.
Going to a Lakers game is not always about the game, Charlton. It's about the event.
Yeah.
When they were playing at the Forum years ago, you used to go out there and watch games, and Showtime was where you needed to be. Everybody who was seen there, everybody thought they were somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what the Lakers created, that persona in the Southern California area, Charlton. And that same magnetism didn't follow the Clippers when they came up from San Diego.
Yeah.
Because this was Lakers territory. The Lakers, I think they made some solid moves here prior to the end of the season, getting Magic Johnson back involved with the organization. And Magic will bring other people, that have a great basketball knowledge back in.
Yeah.
And that's the things that you need to have. Someone with great basketball knowledge without an ego who wants to be seen and not heard. Magic just wants to be heard. He doesn't want to be seen. He's had his day in the sun.
Yeah.
So he will help reestablish that organization back to NBA lore. It won't be a 1 or 2 year fix, Charlton. They're going to have to get a couple of top flight free agents either into Los Angeles. And that's what the Lakers did when they had, Riley here coaching. They were able to get in a couple of top of flight, free agents. They did it with Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
And that's what reestablished the organization. And so they have to go out and make Los Angeles a again. And,
Go ahead, Big C. I know, we're getting some technical difficulty. I know you're driving down there, down south, but sometimes the phone connection is a little bit. Yeah.
After this year.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some players on the table. You know, I'd really like to see Paul George
Yeah.
come to Los Angeles out of Indiana. Now, he went to school at Fresno State.
Yeah.
And I think he would be a natural California attraction. He's one of the top 10 players in the NBA.
Yeah.
So to put him in Showtime, Charlton, give him two of the young players that we got and send them to Indiana. I don't think Larry Bird's going to show back up.
No.
Whoever the new GM is, you know, maybe you can make a deal with him.
That's funny. That's funny.
Organization to the draft.
Yeah, and that's.
Most players will return to those young players and say, this is how things are going to be done.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a stronger NBA. You think about having Golden State, the Clippers, get the Lakers back in action.
Yeah.
If you make a
And also, Big C, I know down there in LA you're heading to the Clippers game tonight, but we talked about so many things that happen in the world of sports. Just want to get back on the fact that we have, I know you're going to the Clippers in Kings tonight at Staples Center. We have Atlanta 103-76 over Charlotte. Oklahoma City 100-98 over Minnesota. Great game by Westbrook again. Russell Westbrook's amazing. Denver 109, Dallas 91. And the LA Lakers 108-96 over New Orleans. And back to what Magic Johnson's going to do for the Lakers. People are saying, why are the Lakers trying to win their final few games? Aren't they hurting themselves as far as trying to get a top pick in the lottery? Well, Magic Johnson wants to win. I think he wants to still winning more important than who you're going to get. Does that make any sense at all, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I'm trying to figure out the last time that the number one draft pick in the NBA was the NBA MVP, okay?
Wow. Yeah.
Season.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a minute since that happened. Even when he led the NBA in scoring, Charlton.
Yeah.
The number one draft pick. You know, the last one I remember was Bob McAdoo back in the 70s. You know, and he was with the Buffalo Braves, and that team ended up becoming the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
So to find a first draft pick, I mean, we've seen the luck that the Philadelphia 76ers have had over the last 3 years. The last big guys that they drafted number one overall, Charlton, have not played.
Yeah.
So to say you got the number one draft pick in the draft means nothing in the NBA. It's who can play.
Yeah.
You know, people get so enamored and so in love with all these post guys who are talking about who should be number one. You know, just like with the NFL draft.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in love with a guy, you got to take him. You know, no one listens to Bill Belichick, okay?
Yeah.
No one listens to Bill Belichick. You know, no one listens to the teams that dominate. You know, you look at the Golden State Warriors. Do anybody know who they drafted number one last year?
That's a good point. Good point.
Out of China.
Yeah.
You know, but who was the best player that they picked up? Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So if you're sitting there waiting on your number one draft pick to make you the best team in the NBA, Charlton,
Yeah.
you're going to be a consistent loser like the Philadelphia 76ers. Look at the New York Nets. Anybody know who they drafted in the last 10 years?
Wow.
Okay? They have nothing. So, and they constantly lose. So when you look at the teams that have drafted high in the last 5 years in the NBA, Charlton,
Yeah.
which one of them have made the playoffs? None of them.
Yeah. That's
If you start a winning culture, then that winning culture will manifest itself, Charlton. But if you keep that losing culture, that's all you'll have is the Philadelphia 76ers, the New York Nets. That's what you will have.
Big C, while you're down in LA, maybe you should run into the ESPN Center because they do a lot of broadcasting, and they're all clamoring for some kid out of college who's starving and working for free, and they're wondering if he's going to be the next great NBA player. You just dropped some information that makes so much sense, even when you compare it to the great Bill Belichick and what Magic Johnson is doing. They don't want to lose. They want a winning mentality. They'll take who they have and make them fit that winning mentality. That's what they want to do, Big C, yeah.
Even down here in Los Angeles, everybody's in love with what's his name?
Lonzo Ball, yeah.
You know, what if he never won? Okay? Show me one of these guys, you know, give me a guy at least off the national championship team, okay?
Yeah.
Give me somebody off North Carolina. At least I know I got a winner.
Yeah.
A kid who's been to back-to-back national championship games. Like a Deshaun Watson, Charlton, when I listen to these jacks, you know, Mel Kiper and Don McShay talking about Deshaun guys, you know, I mean, not Deshaun Watson.
Watson. Yeah.
Is not an NFL-ready quarterback, okay?
They still want golf, Big C. That's what they're built on.
Okay, think about this. How many white quarterbacks have been drafted in the first round in the last 5 years in the NFL have a winning record? Okay, this is to those draft experts and the listeners. I mean, you guys pay attention, go out and Google it.
Yeah, Google it.
Okay?
Hold on.
How many white quarterbacks drafted in the first round in the last 5 years in the NFL have a winning record? Okay?
Wow.
This is Todd McShay and Mel Kiper telling you these are franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, but how many of them have a winning record? You can't find it, Charlton.
Yeah.
You cannot find it. But put it this way. How many black quarterbacks that are drafted percentage-wise have winning records?
Yeah.
Off the charts.
Yeah.
Okay, off the charts. So don't sit there and tell me that these guys are experts when they're talking about to build your franchise around a loser.
Yeah.
Because these guys that have been drafted in the first round, Charlton, have not won national championships.
Yeah.
I think Carson Wentz, but he still got a losing record in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's
And they're loading him up, put it this way, they're loading him up with 3 free agent receivers this year, okay?
Yeah.
3 free agents, all pro receivers. So if the Philadelphia Eagles can't win 10 games this year, Charlton, I would get rid of Carson Wentz and look elsewhere.
Yeah,
Because if you can't win 10 games
Yeah.
with 3 all-pro wide receivers that you put onto your roster, it's not the receivers, it's the damn quarterback, Charlton.
And you know, Big C, I'll bring something up too because I keep hearing Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, they're going to give you their picks. And just be honest, people can Google, just like Steve Fisher had like 6 winning seasons out of 21. People should take the time to Google the picks by, who are those good old boys again? I keep forgetting the name. Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. And I hope that people have Google. All they got to do is Google over the last 10 years how many times they picked a player that was actually able to go on and win a Super Bowl every single year, or even get their team to a championship game every single year. If you do that, you'll realize their percentage is less than 40%, Big C, but they're put on as the ESPN gurus, and they're just stealing money. Them good old boys are stealing money just like the Masters. Those good old boys are stealing money, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, I wouldn't even say they're stealing money, Charlton. When a fool hires a fool,
Yeah.
That's all it is. You sit there and you see these guys percentage go down and down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in coaching.
Yeah.
Well, when you got a coach and his winning percentage goes down 3 consecutive years, he's normally on the unemployment line, Charlton.
Yeah.
And that's in all sports. You look at the NFL. You see coaches who win percentage other than Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
You know, who hung around for 20 years losing.
Yeah.
You know, when your winning percentage keeps going down, you have to go find a job.
Yeah.
As a baseball player, when your hitting percentage keeps going down, you find yourself in the minor league.
Yeah,
okay?
that's true. That's very true.
You're a field goal kicker in the NFL, and all of a sudden you're only hitting 80% of your kicks.
Yeah.
You're unemployed.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true.
So when you got a guy that's picking the draft for the past couple of decades, and you're considered the guru, I at least want some guys who become all pro.
That's very true, Big C.
Because you think about the best 2 quarterbacks in the last 5 years that McShay and
Kiper. Yeah.
said they were not good quarterbacks, that they were projects, okay? Russell Wilson, I guess he must have lived in the projects. That's what they meant by projects.
Yeah.
And as well as Dak Prescott, I think they were talking about the upgrade me, from the projects. Because when you look at the guys that were in the same draft as them,
Yeah.
okay? Dak Prescott's wins, 12 games, 13 games?
Yeah.
He started last year as a rookie.
Yeah.
In Dallas. Russell Wilson has gone to, 2 Super Bowls, won 1.
Yeah.
And also Colin Kaepernick, the other black quarterback that nobody will sign, has been to a Super Bowl and an NFC championship team.
Yeah.
But Mel Kiper and Todd McShay said they were projects and reaches, okay?
Yeah.
They were reach, but, I'm looking at Blake Bortles. Damn, we haven't won 5 games in 1 season.
So you know, Big C, if
Terry McGill is out of the league.
Yeah.
So, and the list goes on, Charles.
Hey, so if Kiper and McShay need a job, they can always work for the Donald Trump administration while he still has a job, Big Z. I mean, they can deal with alternative facts, but just Google what they say. Anybody, use your own brain, use your own Google. Most phones have a Google search. Google how accurate they've been over their top draft picks over the past 10 years and just decide if they're still worth putting your money on them good old boys. Big C, also want to get back to a couple more games closing out tonight in the NBA. Should be some great NBA action. Houston, they're an 8-point favorite over Minnesota. Memphis is favored by 6.5 over Dallas. Oklahoma City, a 1-point favorite over Denver. Cleveland, a 1-point favorite over Toronto. King James is not going to play in that game. And that game's at Cleveland. Do you think they're robbing the fans by not having King James play the final home game, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I'm beyond that point of robbing the fans.
Yeah.
I think players at times deserve some time off. Would you rather have LeBron James in the playoffs, or would you have him rather closing out the final regular season game at home?
Yeah.
They're getting ready to come through, what is it, about a 18-game playoff stretch, 20-game playoff stretch?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need peak performance every night, Charlton.
Yeah, that's true.
And to have a chance to rest on a meaningless game, Cleveland doesn't care whether they're the 1 seed or the 2nd seed, Charlton.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference goes through Cleveland regardless.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So being realistic about what's there for the fans. Will you always have a sellout in every playoff game, Charlton? Does the NBA charge more for a ticket in a playoff game?
Yeah, they do.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what is the NBA crying about? When you double and triple the price in a playoff game, the NBA says that the playoffs are more valuable than the regular season.
Yeah.
So why not give the player the same option that you give the NBA?
Yeah.
And I don't care what sports league. I mean, we just saw the Big C World Series where fans were paying $25,000 for a seat in a stadium, Charlton.
Yeah.
In Cleveland and even in Chicago, they were paying $25,000 for a single seat.
Yeah.
When during the regular season, Charlton, you can get that same seat for $100.
So, Big C, does that make you feel bad when you get in for free and them good old boys are paying $24,000?
Stop saying that, man. Okay, now you're going to get a lot of read the listeners.
Okay, I understand.
Why should we listen to this freeload?
the freeload to state of California. That's called California Love. Now you know why that Snoop Dogg said it wasn't Snoop Dogg. California Love was by Tupac, wasn't it? California Love.
That was Dr. Dre.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dr. Dre, the late Tupac, California Love. And also back to the world of sports, that boys and girls sports is $1 billion industry. And when you need sports insurance, reach out to Big C Sports. We get it through Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century, and we cover all 50 states in the United States. We could even cover at Mexico and across the pond in Europe. If you need sports, tweet out to Big C Sports for athletic insurance, whether you're a pro athlete, a collegiate athlete, or a high school, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. Tweet out to Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide on the iHeart Radio Network. We'll just finish up with some of these games tonight, Big C. We have Indiana, a 9-point favorite over Atlanta. Boston's favorite by 13.5 over Milwaukee. Orlando's favorite by 2 over Detroit. And you have New York favorite by 1 over Philadelphia. Miami's favorite by 1 over Washington. Chicago's favorite by 9.5 over Brooklyn. You have Utah. They're a very good team. They're kind of a 1-point underdog at home against San Antonio. Portland, there's no line on the Portland-New Orleans game. Golden State's a 14-point favorite over the LA Lakers. And the Clippers, the game you're heading to tonight, they're a 16-point favorite over the Sacramento Kings. Big C, as we close out the program today, I just want to get your thoughts on POTUS. I think we have actually nuclear ships going over to Korea. I mean, this is supposed to be building a wall between the United States and Mexico. Why are we sending nuclear aircraft between Korea based on Donald Trump and his shenanigans? I think that's a bigger story than people give it credit for. What's his purpose? What's he trying to prove, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, I think over all these years that, the U.S. made big with North Korea and Kim Jong-un, I mean, the last president just paid him no mind.
Yeah.
And that's what the world had done, was paid him no mind. China's right next door.
Yeah.
They pay him no mind. But, here's Donald Trump sending a fleet over to North Korea to park offside their shore.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense, Charlton.
It's stupid.
The world has been at peace, and I think another thing that the world needs to understand, and mainly the Americans, we have not had a Republican president in my lifetime that has not started a war.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlton?
Yeah.
We have not had a Republican president in my lifetime that has not started a war. So we have to look back. The last 3 Democratic presidents we had, Charlton,
Yeah.
have not started wars. Barack Obama, not started wars. And this is what the American people need to understand. War is not about economy within this country, okay, Johnson? It's not rebuilding the infrastructure of America. The minute you start a war with another country, Johnson, this country becomes decimated.
Yeah.
Economically becomes decimated. Not only with the economics, but with lives, Johnson, lives that are destroyed, families that are destroyed. And so with POTUS trying to call himself flexing against North Korea, this is a guy who has no political knowledge. Okay, people talking about giving him a chance. They have never put a wartime president up, Johnson, to be kicked out of office.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
They've never done that. So he's trying to cover his back end because he knows where things stand with Russia.
Yeah.
And that will come out. And they say you cannot impeach a wartime president. You know, then where's the country at that point?
Yeah.
But, you know, to put American lives in peril, going into the Middle East, going into Syria, which is about to happen, Johnson, and also in Asia, Johnson.
Yeah.
This is what we don't need as Americans. If you want to rebuild America, you don't rebuild it through war. That's
not through nuclear war, not through nuclear war, and that's, you know, all we have to do is look at back at Hiroshima. Those bombs are real. It's not Hollywood anymore. But we did predict it first on Big C Sports because they are going to impeach Donald Trump. All the signs lead that way, and we did predict about 2 months ago that once the heat turns up more on Donald Trump and his connection with Russia, that he would start a war. And I hate to say that we were right again, Big C, but all you got to do is Google that too. We brought it up first on Big C Sports before CNN, and now we have nuclear weapons going over toward Korea. It's a really scary time. It's not supposed to be this way in America. But Big C, I think obviously President Trump lied again. They just came out and said that they found no evidence that Rice had anything to do with spying on the Trump administration. That's about the 10th lie he's told on black people. That's Donald Trump's lie against Rice and also President Obama, Big C. And I hope that they go after him I think they can sue him for character assassination or impugning their character. Yeah, slander.
But they can get him, because being a president is one thing. And a president is supposed to be of character.
He has no character. He has no character.
And, it's like, Michelle Obama said that the former First Lady, the former real First Lady of the United States, who was not afraid to live in the White House and represent the American people.
Yeah.
It's like she said, you need an adult in the White House. You need someone who thinks like an adult, acts like an adult.
Yeah.
We've seen nothing but childish antics from this current president, Johnson.
Yeah.
From character assassination to lies and trying to deflate from the truth and deflect the realism that's going on. I have nothing against the people who voted for it. That's called the freedom.
I do. I think they're ignorant, Big C. I have a lot against them.
You're allowed to vote for who you want to vote for, Johnson. And you're allowed to believe in what you want to believe in. But it's the money in the White House.
No.
That's what people need to understand.
Yeah.
It's the money in the White House. And so that fantasy that you were living and believing because you were mad at the black guy for 8 years of being the president of the United States, and you wanted to change because you wanted to see it be white again, now you're thinking about what you were hoping for.
Well,
and you're missing the black guy that was in there, Charles.
And you know what's ironic? Donald Trump, it just came out on CNN, I think he's already spent about $28 million in security in the few months that he's been in office. On his vacations and going down to Mar-a-Lago, and his family going off to Aspen and taking the Secret Service, and then they got to spend about $128,000 every day to secure his wife at the Trump Tower in New York. I think Donald Trump has spent over $28 million in 8 years. He's already outspent President Obama on vacation money and Secret Service money, and depending all of his staff. In 8 years, President Obama was outspent by Donald Trump in just a few months that he's been in office, and that's a joke, Big C. Yeah.
For the Trump Foundation, the Trump family. This is the fleecing of America. So when America wants to sit around and talk about what he's going to do with jobs, think about it. They took the money that they're spending on the security for his family to go out and have fun and do world business.
Yeah.
And because his family's out doing business around the world on the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
Think about how many jobs you could have created in America with $28 million.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy's creating jobs. He's telling other corporations to create jobs. But the U.S. government and the taxpayer is paid for his family to get wealthy.
Yeah.
To take vacations and asking, as you say, for his sons to do business trips in Turkey and India.
Yeah.
They're over there doing this, Charlton, on the American dime. Not only that, Charlton, they're flying on American jets, the U.S. military jets. They're flying on Air Force One is a fleet, okay?
Yeah.
Is a fleet. It's called Air Force One when the president is on there, but there's a fleet of about 20 planes, Charlton, with that American seal on there that are painted blue and white.
Yeah.
And the family flies on those planes with the Secret Service and the staff that they need, Charlton. That's fitted by the American public.
Yeah.
So this guy who was creating jobs for Americans, take the $28 million, put it into the infrastructure. Go out and create some jobs, whatever kind, open up some businesses.
Yeah.
Allow people to go to work, but the Secret Service already has a job, Charlton.
Yeah.
They're already employed. They're making overtime. I have a friend whose daughter is on the patrol in New York guarding Trump Tower.
Yeah.
His daughter's with NYPD. Beautiful woman, intelligent woman, has a master's degree. She works 12-hour shifts, Charlton. 6 days a week, not 5, 6
Yeah.
days a week.
Yeah.
Because that's free money. Free money. She is making twice the salary, Charlton, since Trump has become president as she was making before on an NYPD salary.
Wow.
Okay? This is at the taxpayer's expense.
Yeah. That's true.
So over the next 4 years, Charlton, if whatever Trump's wife stays in there,
Yeah.
I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, if she stays there for the next 4 years, his daughter, and I'm not knocking his daughter, and I'm grateful for any officer who can make the money that they make.
Yeah.
Well, basically 2.5 times the salary that she would have made, Charlton.
Yeah.
As long as Trump's wife stays in New York.
That's incredible.
That's the kind of money they're doling out.
Yeah.
That's making America first. The first lady is lifting America, technically.
You know, Big C, that makes so much sense. And I just hope a lot of people, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you can still Google, you can still find out how much POTUS has spent on taxpayer dollar flying off to vacations all over the world. He and his family, they're not working. In fact, he lost the war when he was down golfing in Mar-a-Lago. I just want to touch this final segment about Big C Sports. I know you're heading out to the Clippers game in Staples Center, Big C. In baseball, you have Milwaukee there, Toronto. Baltimore is going to be at Boston. Oakland, they're playing at Kansas City. Texas, they're at the Los Angeles Angels. In Houston, they're going to be at Seattle. Also, and that's going to be over in the American League. In the National League for Major League Baseball tonight, you have Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Should be a great game. The Mets, they're playing at Philadelphia. Milwaukee's going to be at Toronto. Atlanta, they're at Miami. The Dodgers, they're at the Cubs over in the Windy City. And then Arizona, and they're at San Francisco. Kane's going to start for San Francisco Giants, Big C. So as we close out today's show, Big C Sports, we talked about a little bit of everything. Talked about POTUS, talked about the NBA, talked about how the NFL is shaping up with McShay and that good old boy. What's his name, McShay? And what's the Kuiper? What? Kuiper, yeah. Yeah. Google them good old boys for the last 10 years and just see how accurate they've been. Now they're trying to despair as a quarterback who's played in the last 2 national championships on the college level. He happens to be an African-American, Deshaun Watson. He's an excellent player, but these good old boys are trying to tell you that he's not even NFL caliber. I don't know what they're drinking, Big C. Something doesn't seem right, but they can always get a job at the Trump White House as soon as Spicer steps down, Big C. Final show, we'll close out today with your thoughts on what you're looking forward to as you're here in the Sunshine State of California, love. Go ahead, Big C.
I'm looking forward to a Rockets game tonight at the Staples Center, and hopefully the Clippers can gain some momentum for the playoffs. You know, they've been kind of disappointing to the league and to the fans.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to advance. Now they're going into the playoffs this year healthy, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of years they lost Griffin and they've also lost CP3, which has really hurt the flow and the continuity of the team. So, when CP3 went down with the broken hand last year, they had no floor leader. Now with him back being healthy, 50-plus win team, Charlton.
Yeah.
I think that they can make a little bit of noise. You just don't want to have Golden State or San Antonio in the first round.
Yeah.
But, the teams that they're facing, hopefully they can get out the first. I'd love to see them get at least to the 3rd round this year, Charlton, in the playoffs. But, I'm looking forward to the end of the final, the end of the final of the regular season in the NBA.
Yeah.
And let's get on to the real season.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
The playoffs, Big C. And did you say playoffs? Playoffs? Are you talking about playoffs? Man, we're just trying to win a game, Big C. Who was that good old boy for the in the NFL that had that? He was. No, that's the good old boy for it. It wasn't even for the Colts. I forgot his name. That good old boy. He was a coach. Okay. Okay.
He's also coached the Kansas City Chiefs. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Matter of fact, his most famous play in the NFL was when he recovered a fumble from Joe Patrocic and Larry Dawkins and returned it for a touchdown and knocked the Giants out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And got the Eagles into it.
Well, that's always good news, Big C. I'm going to tell you, enjoy California. You'll understand what the Beatles said. Also, the Beastie Boys, when they said they wish they all could be California girls. Hopefully, you'll wear your shades like Big Jack does. If you get a chance to say hi to Jack, go ahead and say hi to Jack for I don't even know who he goes. I think Billy Crystal goes down to the Clippers games. But don't be starstruck, Big C. They're just people, okay? And don't track mud all over the center of the Staples Center because the good old boys in California, they don't like mud, Big C. But we'll bring mud to you every Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the iHeart Radio Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And also Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always tell you every program there's never any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, just call 911 because no woman should have to deal with that garbage all on her own. And as we always tell you for every program, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.